Good evening, everyone, and welcome you all to our What Buddha Said class. First, I'm going to pay homage to the Buddha. And if you know the words, you can join me or you can observe it. So I know some of you are not Buddhists, so you can just observe it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May my homage to my teacher, Pinwat Lokuswamin Wahanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends, last week we discussed about the first part of the Meghiya Sutta. Okay. So let me share my screen first. Give me 1 second. Meghiya Sutta, the monk Meghiya. Okay. So let's go through very quickly over the first part of the Meghiya Sutta. So we talk about the Meghiya, and he had some distracting thoughts during his meditation, mainly thoughts of sensual desires, thoughts of anger, thoughts of doing harm. Then he went to the Buddha, and then Buddha taught him there are 5 things that you should develop to mature your mind. Then we learned when our mind is not matured, mind wandering happens during the meditation. To stop that, we have to mature our mind. To mature our mind, we have to practice these 5 qualities. We have to develop 5 qualities in our life. So what are those 5 qualities? Associating with noble friends and noble companions, and developing virtue, and hearing talks that break defilements, arousing energy to abandon unwholesomeness and developing wholesomeness, and also developing wisdom that leads to the end of suffering. So these are the 5 qualities that we should develop in order to mature our mind. Then when our mind is matured, then very easily we can get rid of distracting thoughts, or we can stop mind wandering. So then we learn the whole Noble Eightfold Path depends on noble friends or noble companions. And then we learn we have to develop virtue in our life. And I mentioned about the 5 precepts for lay people, and also practicing 6 principles of living in harmony with others without disputes but with love and respect helps us to develop our virtue as well. Then we talk about hearing talks that break defilements, and we call them skillful talks. And then today we have to talk about the 4th quality that we should develop. So last week we talked about the first 3 qualities: associating noble friends, and developing virtue, and hearing skillful talks. Today, we have to talk about other two qualities. The fourth one is arousing energy for wholesomeness. So here Buddha says, the monk keeps his energy aroused for abandoning unwholesome qualities and for developing wholesome qualities. He is determined, solid in his effort, not lowering his energy with regard to developing wholesome qualities. So it means the monk is always energetic to abandon negative thoughts in his mind and developing wholesome states in his mind. So that's why we should not only focus on just practicing meditation. Normally, we like to meditate, like we like to sit on one place and with crossed legs and close our eyes and focus on some wholesome object. But it's not enough. Why? Because sometimes throughout the day, we let unwholesome thoughts to come to our mind. Some negative thoughts to come to our mind, like sensual thoughts, angry thoughts, harmful thoughts. Then in the evening, we try to meditate. Then what happens? All the thoughts that we thought during the day come to our mind. Then we think, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. It's very hard. But practicing to develop our meditation, every time we have to arouse our energy to abandon negativity in our mind and develop wholesome states in our mind. So then when we have such an approach, then when we meditate, it's very easy. Why then? Very easily we can focus on our meditation. Why? Because we have trained our mind throughout the day to abandon negative thoughts and develop wholesome thoughts. And in other suttas, Buddha speaks about 4 ways of being energetic or putting effort to abandon unwholesome thoughts and developing wholesome thoughts. Okay. 4 ways of arousing energy. So this part is not mentioned in this Meghiya Sutta, but when always Buddha speaks about arousing energy to abandoning unwholesomeness and developing wholesomeness, Buddha focus on these 4 ways of arousing energy. So we call it right effort. One arouses the desire to prevent unwholesome, harmful states from arising. One puts in effort, energizes oneself, focuses the mind, and strives. So it means, okay, so right now, I'm pretty sure you don't have any negative thoughts in your mind, okay? But in future, maybe after the program, after this class, some negative thoughts might arise in your mind, okay? But before it arises in our mind, we should prepare our mind, or we should arouse our energy to abandon such negative thoughts. So we start putting effort, or we start abandoning unwholesome thoughts or negativity in our mind before it arises in our mind. So how can we do that? One way is one way is like learning about it. So today, actually, you are arousing your desire to prevent unwholesome, harmful states from arising. Okay? So, another way we can do, like we can reflect on the drawbacks of having unwholesome thoughts in our mind. So in this sutta, we learn about 3 types of unwholesome thoughts: sensual thoughts, angry thoughts, and harmful thoughts. So we learn about it, and then we learn those are harmful to our mind, and those thoughts drain our mental energy. Then we learn about it. When we learn it, we arouse our desire to prevent unwholesome, harmful states from arising. And also we can keep reminding ourselves about it. So then we can arouse our desire to prevent such unwholesome states from arising. The second way, one arouses the desire to abandon unwholesome, harmful states that have already arisen. One puts in effort, energizes oneself, focuses the mind, and strives. So now, suppose there is a moment, there are some unwholesome thoughts in our mind. Now, unwholesome thoughts have already arisen in our mind. Now we should put effort to abandon it. Abandon it. The third one, arousing the desire to produce wholesome, beneficial states that have not yet arisen. One puts in effort, energizes oneself, focuses the mind, and strives. Okay. So for example, practicing breathing meditation. Okay. So if you suppose there is person, he hasn't practiced breathing meditation before, but then he learns about the benefits of practicing breathing meditation. Okay. Then he and also then he learns, okay, by practicing breathing meditation, I can develop 4 foundations of mindfulness. Then I can develop 7 factors of the enlightenment. Then finally, I can attain the full enlightenment. So those wholesome states haven't arisen yet. Okay? But now, in this moment, we arouses our desire to develop such wholesome states in our mind. And another thing, suppose like there is someone who wants to develop some good habits. Okay? Someone thinks, okay, every day I should practice meditation for 30 minutes in the morning. So he hasn't done it yet, but now he arouses his desire to do that. So that is the third way of arousing our energy. Then one arouses the desire to maintain and develop wholesome, beneficial states that have already arisen. One works to protect them, increase them, and bring them to fulfillment through meditation. So after we start to develop some wholesome states, we should try to maintain it. We should try to protect them. Okay? So because normally it happens for, I think, almost everyone. Sometimes we have some negative states in our mind. Then we think, okay, I should practice a meditation, or I should join a meditation class, okay, or I should go to the monastery. Then they arouse energy to practice meditation, associate monks, learn the teaching. Then after some time, they are able to eradicate those negative states in their mind. Now they are very peaceful, very happy. Then what happens? Then they think, oh, they forget about how it develops and how I was able to get rid of the negative states. Then they take it granted for it. So then they don't put same effort to maintain those wholesome states, then after some time again those wholesome states fade away from the mind, then again negative states arise in the mind. So that's why after we develop some wholesome states in our mind, we should protect them, we should maintain them, and then we should try to fulfill those wholesome states through meditation practices. This is the fifth one. Okay, the fifth quality that we need to develop in order to mature our mind. Buddha says the monk is wise, endowed with the wisdom related to arising and passing away of formations. His wisdom is noble, penetrating, leading to the ending of suffering. Okay. So now he has to develop his wisdom. So he has to understand the arising and passing away of formations. So what are the formations? Okay. Formation, everything that arises due to the causes. Okay. So everything, so in this world, almost everything arises due to causes. Okay. Or in other words, all the conditional things are called as formations. Okay. So actually, Buddha says there is only one thing in this world that doesn't arise due to causes. Okay. What is that one? Nirvana. Okay. Nibbana. Okay. Or the liberation from all the suffering. So that is the only thing that is not conditional. Okay. That is the only thing that is not conditional. Every other thing, even the Noble Eightfold Path, is conditional. So it arises, because Noble Eightfold Path arises in our life due to conditions. Okay. A few examples for formations. One thing is unwholesome thoughts. Conditional. Unwholesome thoughts, conditional. Normally we take unwholesome thoughts as me, mine, something that belong to me. But that's not true. That's why we need to develop our understanding about the unwholesome thoughts. Okay, even unwholesome thoughts are arising and passing. Unwholesome thoughts are conditional. So now we need to develop our understanding about that. Even wholesome thoughts are conditional. Okay. So sometimes people say, okay, Bhante, after a meditation retreat, I feel very peaceful, okay, very happy, and but after a couple of days, again, my mind goes back to the previous states. Okay. So why? Even the wholesome states in our mind are conditional. So we have to keep generating those causes to maintain it. And then 5 aggregates are conditional. I think before we discuss about 5 aggregates, so I'm not gonna talk about the 5 aggregates today. And then sense faculties. Sense faculties like our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Sense faculties are conditional. Arise and pass. Those are not permanent things. Sense faculties are not permanent. And energy to abandon unwholesomeness and develop wholesomeness is conditional. So that's why sometimes very easily we can get rid of negative thoughts. But there are moments even though we try, we cannot get rid of negative thoughts. Okay? Well, because even that energy is conditional. Okay? And there are moments like very easily we can meditate. Okay? I mean, we don't have to put any effort. Our mind just takes us to meditate. But there are moments, even though we want to meditate, we can't meditate. Okay? So why? Because it is conditional. Okay? So energy to abandon unwholesomeness and develop wholesomeness is conditional. Okay? Or in other words, like the right effort is conditional. And suffering, okay, suffering is conditional. Okay? So if it is not conditional, if it is a permanent thing, then we will never ever be able to liberate from suffering. Okay? So good news is suffering is conditional. Okay? So because of that, we can liberate from all the sufferings. And Noble Eightfold Path, okay, the path toward the full enlightenment, is conditional. Okay? So, and also there are everything except the nirvana is conditional. So we have to understand the arising and passing of formations in our day-to-day life. We don't, at the beginning, we don't need to go very deep. Okay? So we can take very simple things. Okay? So one simple thing is when you have energy to meditate, just try to understand how that energy develops in your mind. Okay? So, and when you don't have energy to practice a meditation, again try to understand what happened to me. So yesterday I was very energetic, but today I'm not energetic. So what made the difference? So then we try to understand arising and passing of formations in our life. So that understanding leads us to the enlightenment. Okay? So that understanding is not a simple thing. So why? Because it make our path toward the final destination. So every day try to, because normally when we live in our life, like we just do the things, but we don't focus on the causes of the things that that happens in our life. So if you get angry, you can use that moment to understand the causes of the anger, okay, how it arose in my mind. Okay? And then when it fades away, again you can understand, okay, how it started to fade away in my mind. So in that way you understand arising and passing of the anger. So we can take very simple things to understand arising and passing of formations. Then gradually we will be able to go very deep. We can understand the rising and passing of five aggregates, sense faculties, Noble Eightfold Path. Then we can go very deep. So if I brief all of those things, then wisdom means understanding of the Four Noble Truths, understanding of the arising and passing of five aggregates, understanding of the arising and passing of sense faculties, understanding of dependent origination. So we haven't discussed it yet. Okay, in future we can discuss about dependent origination. Okay, and understanding of the arising and passing of four great elements. Okay? Four great elements, and also so many other things that we consider as wisdom. Okay? But normally these few things we consider as wisdom in Buddhism. Okay? There is a sutta, in that sutta Buddha, Sariputta Thero speaks about so many different ways that we can use to develop our wisdom. But however, the main thing, okay, the main thing is understanding the Four Noble Truths. Why? Because five aggregates means is the suffering, and also it is a part of the Four Noble Truths. Dependent origination, it speaks about how suffering arises and passes in our life. So everything is about Four Noble Truths in Buddhism. Okay? So actually, wisdom means understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So, but however, to develop that understanding, we have to take small steps. Okay? Day to day, as I mentioned earlier, in our daily lives, we can understand how things happens in our life. Then it makes our path to understand the Four Noble Truths. Then Buddha says, okay, if you have noble friends, then okay, I think okay, this order is a little bit okay when I create in the presentation. Okay, so when you have noble friends, okay, you have to be virtuous. Okay, okay. So if you have a good friends, you have to be virtuous. Okay, it is you have to expect that you will become virtuous and restrain your sense faculties and keep doing good things. Okay, so then what do happen to us when we have bad friends? Okay, the opposite of that. Okay, opposite of that. So actually, if we look back in our lives, so then we can understand whenever we started to do some bad things, it happened with the influence of some of our friends. Okay? So, so every bad thing we did in our lives, the first day, we did it with the influence of other friends, okay, or other people, okay. So, but when we have noble friends, then we always do good things. Okay, so then we can be virtuous and restrain our bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions. And when we have noble friends, then we have to expect to hearing talks that break defilements. Why? Noble friends talks about how to develop our path toward enlightenment. How to get rid of anger, how to get rid of jealousy. So when we associate noble friends, then we have to hear, okay, talks that break defilements. Then very easily, when we have noble friends, we don't have to put effort to get that. Always we have to listen to the talks, skillful talks. And when we have noble friends, then we have to arouse energy for wholesomeness, for the wholesomeness. So, why? Because noble friends encourage us to arouse energy, to abandon unwholesomeness and developing wholesomeness. And they encourage us, go and meditate. Okay? Don't let negative thoughts to overcome your mind. So they always motivates us. Okay? Then we have to put energy to abandon unwholesomeness and developing wholesomeness. And also when we have noble friends, then very easily we can develop our wisdom. Okay? Now let's think about our life. Okay, so now we try to do good things always, and we try to develop our virtue, we try to develop our meditation practices, we try to abandon negative thoughts. What made that change in our life? So in my life, if I look back, so this change happened from this change happened the day I started to associate noble friends, okay, good friends. Okay? And also I got all of my good things mainly from my teacher. So because of him, I got this monk's life. Because of him, I learned this sutta, okay, Meghiya sutta. Otherwise, I didn't know about such a sutta. So because of him, I try to be virtuous. I try to practice my meditation. So because of my teacher, so I was able to develop good things in my life. So that's why the noble friends, having noble friends, is the key. Okay, is the main thing to develop these good qualities in our life. Okay. Then Buddha says, when the monk is established in the five qualities, when the monk is established in these five qualities, there are four additional qualities he should develop. Okay, so now first we have to establish ourselves in these five qualities. Okay, then it helps us to mature our mind. Okay, mature our mind. Then we should develop another four additional qualities. Okay, so from the beginning we have to develop these four additional qualities as well, but we should give the first priority to develop the first five qualities in our life. Okay. So why? Because it's like the foundation for develop other qualities in our life. Okay. So what are those four qualities that we should develop? Here meditation comes. Okay. Four additional qualities. Now we should meditate. Okay. Meditation on impurities of the body to abandon lust. So now, so normally what happens, like people try to meditate without developing other necessary qualities. Because of that, they cannot develop their meditation into the next level. So that's why developing those five qualities is essential to mature our mind. Then we can focus on our meditation practices. The first one, contemplating on impurities of the body, it helps us to abandon lust. And next one, practicing loving kindness meditation to abandon hatred. And practicing breathing meditation to cut off distracting thoughts. The fourth one, developing the perception of impermanence to uproot the conceit I am. It means like now we think about me, mine, myself. Okay, always our thoughts are connected with me, mine. Okay? But because of that, negative thoughts arise in our mind. So if you take a closer look of all the negative thoughts are connected with this view, I am, or me, or mine. Okay. And then Buddha says, when you perceive impermanence, the perception of non-self becomes stabilized. Perceiving not self, you uproot the conceit I am and attain extinguishment in this very life. So it means attain the nirvana, or attain the full enlightenment, attain the full enlightenment. So first we have to develop the perception of impermanence. So that's what we do when we practice impermanence meditation. We try to develop the perception of impermanence. Then it helps us when our mind is well established on perception of impermanence, then it helps us to develop the view of non-self. Okay, non-self. Then we can uproot the conceit. So then we can attain the full enlightenment. Okay. So to attain the full enlightenment, we have to eradicate me, mind. Okay. So that's normally we don't want to eradicate me or mine, that idea. Okay. We always want to keep it with us. Okay. But the problem is, with that view, with that idea, with that concept, all the negative states arise in our mind. So at the beginning, we try to remove the view of self. So because at the beginning, it works in our life as a kind of view about this life. Okay. So we always focus on me. This is me. This is mine. This is myself. Okay. And so always we look at this world through that frame. We have to break that frame to liberate ourselves from negativity. So then by developing that path further, one day we will be able to uproot the conceit completely. So that is the full enlightenment. Then Buddha says, even though some thoughts are small and subtle, when followed, they stir up the mind. The ignorant person gets scared by these thoughts. The result is that he will run here and there from life to life in this cycle of rebirth. Okay, so normally when I do meditation programs, like in my meditation programs, I don't talk about cycle of rebirth. Okay, why? Because sometimes some people, they don't accept it, but they like to practice meditation. Okay, so it's okay if you don't accept it. It's okay, but still you can practice meditation, and still you can put effort to remove negative thoughts in your mind. Okay? But if you keep doing that, then as a result of that, you will stop the cycle of rebirth. Then you don't need to worry about that. Okay? So, but however, in the higher level, like you will understand it, the cycle of rebirth. You will understand this is not my first life. This is not my last life. Okay, so in Buddhism, we always talk about cycle of rebirth. So Buddha says this is a very long journey. We have come in a very long journey. Okay, and there is no stop for this long journey unless we attain the full enlightenment. So what's the problem of this cycle of rebirth? It always connected with suffering. It always connected with suffering. So then why this cycle of rebirth happens? Because of these negative thoughts that arise in our mind. The wise person with true knowledge comprehends these thoughts ardently. He restrains them mindfully. The enlightened person uproots all the stirring thoughts. So the wise person means when we develop these qualities, then we become wise. Okay? And then we can remove all of those negative thoughts from our mind. Then we can attain the full enlightenment. Then we can stop this cycle of rebirth. Okay. So that is the end of Meghiya Sutta. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now it's time for you to talk. Okay.
I have 3 questions, Bente.
Yeah.
When you say 5 qualities, just now you said there are 4 qualities in addition to the 5 qualities, but the 5 qualities means the 5 precepts. Is that the same?
No, the 5 quality means, okay, let me share my, give me 1 second.
Forgotten.
Okay.
5 quality. I know the 4 qualities that you added, but that before that, there should be 5 qualities. So what are the qualities?
Okay. Okay, you can take a photo.
Oh, I see.
The 5 qualities that help bring an immature mind to maturity, associating with noble friends and noble companions. That is the first one. Virtue and restraint, hearing talks that break defilements, aroused energy for wholesomeness, wisdom that leads to the end of suffering.
And then the other thing is, so in addition to the 4 qualities,
Yeah.
then I mean,
So these are the 5 qualities. Yeah. So first we have to establish ourselves in these 5 qualities.
Okay.
Then, okay.
The 4 additional qualities is,
Yeah, here. Those are the 5, actually 4 meditations. Oh, I'm sorry.
4 additional qualities. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this one has nothing to do with, okay, the wholesomeness. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So the second thing is when Bante say understanding of dependent origin.
Okay, this one, Lena, do you see this?
Yes, I see this. Now I see the 4 additional qualities.
Yeah, meditation on impurities of the body, loving kindness meditation, breathing meditation, and practicing impermanent meditation.
Okay. So now the other thing is that when you say that understanding of dependent origination, what does dependent origination mean?
Yeah, it's a long topic. Dependent origination is the detailed explanation about how suffering arises in our life and how the cessation of suffering happens in our life. So I haven't talked about the dependent origination yet in our classes.
Okay.
In future, I will talk about it.
So we need to understand how suffering arises in our life and how the cessation of suffering is. Just in short, it is.
Yeah. So in our level, we can understand some of the things to some degree. So first we have to do that. Okay. Then gradually we can develop our wisdom. Then we will be able to understand about the dependent origination and the arising and passing of 5 aggregates and sense faculties. Then gradually we will be able to understand those deep concepts in Buddhism.
And the 5 elements, understanding of the 5 elements is the elements of the
understand four great elements.
Earth, water, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And air. Earth, water, fire, air, and
earth,
water,
water,
fire,
fire,
air,
air.
and wood.
No,
Is
four, just four.
Oh, four elements only? I thought there
Yeah,
are five elements.
four elements.
Four elements.
Yeah,
Maybe I got confused with five qualities.
yeah, four elements. I'll share this presentation on our WhatsApp group.
So five elements. Hold on, let me.
Not five elements, four elements.
Chinese medicine has 5 elements. Maybe that's where she's confused.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because that's correct. Okay, so four elements. So fire, water.
So first one is the earth.
Earth, fire, water, air, and
Yeah, earth, water, fire, and air.
earth, water, fire, and air. Okay, so understanding all the five elements.
Yeah.
And then
It's also a rising, there is a rising and passing of four great elements as well. Yeah.
And then the noble friends means monks, right?
Monks and also the other people who teach us about the teachings of the Buddha.
Even though they are not monks, they are like us.
Yeah.
We can call them noble friends.
Noble friends. Mainly, normally we call them like noble companions. So there is two different terms. So mainly we call our teachers noble friends. Okay.
Oh,
So
not
for me, actually, I have one noble friend that is my teacher, and others are my noble companions. Other monks are my noble companions, and other senior monks, they are my noble companions. Okay. Yeah.
The noble friend is teacher.
Mainly teacher, mainly teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah.
And the
It
guru.
means like someone who can guides you on the path toward the enlightenment.
Okay.
So my teacher, he can guides me on the path toward the enlightenment. So that's why we consider him as the noble friend, my teacher. So other monks, still they are practicing, and so we can share the teachings. Like I can learn some teachings from other monks and also senior monks, but I don't consider them as a noble friend, because my practice depends on my teacher, the guidance of my teacher. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
So Bante, an example of a noble friend could be like Linda. We go to the same temple where Bante is, preaching, and I might have a question or misunderstanding. So I will go to Linda. Did you understand that? Or maybe go to Elaine. Different noble friends that can help you on the path to understanding as well, right? Understanding the Dhamma.
Yeah, so actually, you can consider each of you as noble companions, because these are two terms. I don't know, because like the translate those Pali terms into English, like it's feel like similar, but actually those are two different terms: noble friend and noble companion. But in general, you can consider each of you as noble friend. Oh, this is my noble friend. These are my noble friends. Yeah.
But I have one more question. So you talk about the 4 additional qualities. So the fourth one, it says to develop the perception of impermanence to uproot the conceit of I am, so non-self.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of that? Would that be something like someone who have let's say I have huge ego, it's all about me, it's only me, I, all the time. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the thing is
like self-centered kind of attitude?
Self-centered, yeah. So we are all self-centered. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Bhante, now sometimes when our mind is filled with those unwholesome thoughts, and it seems that it lingers, though we know that they are unwholesome, but it it lingers there for a long time, Bante. Can Bante please advise of how a few strategies how to,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
rid.
good question, Linda. So, uh, first we need to understand even the energy that we have, or that we have to abandon unwholesome things, unwholesome thoughts in our mind is also conditional. It's not a permanent thing. It's not a constant thing. Okay, because you might have experienced like there are moments in your life like very easily you can abandon negative thoughts. So sometimes whenever you just see a negative thought, you can abandon it. But there are moments, even though you see the negative thoughts, you cannot abandon. Okay, okay. So that's why that energy is conditional. Okay, it's not a permanent thing. So then there are moments in our life like we listen to more Dhamma, more teachings, and we meditate uh, very effectively. And also we practice gratitude. Okay? We practice gratitude, and we practice other activities at the monastery. So then when we have such a period of time, then very easily we can get rid of negative thoughts. But there are moments like we don't pay proper attention to those things, then sometimes it's difficult to abandon the negative thoughts. Okay, so we need to learn that pattern in our life. Okay, what helps me to improve my energy to abandon negative thoughts? Okay? So that is actually, it's very important. It's like we need to learn those patterns in our life. Okay, otherwise we don't know what to do next time when we feel lack of energy to abandon defilements. Okay, so that is a most important thing. And then so this is we learn from one of our from another monk. So practicing gratitude is very helpful to abandon negative thoughts. Okay, so like we need to think about people who supported us, who helped us in our life. So then when we practice it every day, then it is very easily we can get rid of negative thoughts in our mind. So if you practice it every day, then you will see that whenever you have a negative thought, then very easily you can abandon it. Very easily you can get rid of that. It means still you might have to put some strategy, but very easily, but it works effectively. Okay. So that is one thing we can do. So practicing gratitude every day, gratefulness every day. And also, especially when we practice gratefulness, it's really important to think about the support that we receive from our noble friends. Why? After some time, since still we have the view of self, we take the teachings, even teachings, as me and mine, something that belong to me. I know this sutta, I know that strategy. Okay, then we take even the teachings as me, as mine. Okay, so then that effectiveness of those strategies become weak. Okay, to get rid of it, it's a kind of trap. Okay, to get rid of that trap, we should think about our noble friends. Or I learned this sutta from this monk, or I learned this strategy from this monk. Okay, so from my noble friend, I learned this strategy to get rid of negative thoughts. Okay, so in that way, we can abandon that negative state of our mind. Okay? because that's why it's for normally at the beginning when we practice teachings, as soon as we apply a strategy, we feel like I can get rid of the negative thoughts very easily. But after some time, it doesn't happen. Why? Because we have taken the teachings as me, something that belong to me. Okay? So that's why to get rid of that, we need to think about our noble friends. So from my noble friends, I learned this. Okay? Then these teachings become the teachings stay very effective. Okay, and also then there are other things that we can practice to apply strategies, like we know we have learned about, like when there are some negative thoughts, we can focus on some wholesome thoughts, and we can understand the impermanence of those negative thoughts. Okay? And also think about the focus on the drawbacks of having negative thoughts. By applying such strategies, then we can get rid of those negative thoughts. But if negative thoughts like keep coming to our mind, then one of the best strategies that I think, I cannot say it's the best strategy. For me, that is the best strategy, okay? Because people are different, like practice is different. For me, like going backward in that stream of thoughts is very effective for me. Sometimes like we cannot get rid of we feel like negative thoughts keep coming in our mind. Then we can go backward, how it formed in my mind. Then gradually we can go to the starting point of that stream of negative thoughts. Then very easily we can get rid of those negative thoughts. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, Bhante. Very wonderful.
You're welcome, Linda.
Bhante, a follow-up to Linda's question. You mentioned that one strategy that worked for you is you work backwards. So is it going backwards to find like the root cause or what trigger that thought to begin with?
Yeah, like for me, for example, like suppose sometimes we have anger with some people. Suddenly we feel like now I have anger with someone. But sometimes it starts with something else. Okay. So sometimes like the starting point and the last point are not related at all. Sometimes there is no connection whatsoever.
Right.
Okay. So why? Because sometimes some thoughts come to our mind, or when we see someone, or when we hear something, then we start to think about it. Then finally some other negative states triggered in our mind. Then we cling to those negative states. Okay? But at the beginning we don't have any idea about those negative thoughts. Okay? So that's why when we go backward, then we can understand how it is formed in our mind. Then when we come to the starting point of that stream of thoughts, okay, then it's disappeared from our mind. Okay.
That's a good tip. Thank you. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, so we can end our class for today. And so today we collect a lot of merit, good karma by discussing this wonderful sutta. First, let's share this merit, good karma, with my teacher, Pinaloku Saminasa, my noble friend. So because of him, I was able to become a monk and stayed as a monk, okay, and learn all the teachings of the Buddha. So may my teacher rejoice in this merit. May my teacher have a long life, healthy life, and may my teacher realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And by the power of all the good karma we collected today, with the blessings of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, may you and your loved ones have a long life, strength, and happiness. May you be successful in your endeavors. May all the good fortune come your way. May you always have a peaceful mind, and may you be able to develop your path toward the enlightenment. May you be able to realize the Four Noble Truths and attain bliss of happiness, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now I'm going to chant verses of blessings. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Vaddapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samijjatu. May you have long life and be free from illness. May you attain bliss of happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you so much for joining today. May you be well and happy.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you, Bante. Terang